Psalm 3, verse 3 and 4. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. My glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord, and He answered me from His holy hill. So David is running out of town while his son and an army come to kill him. He says, my foes are all around me, and they've attacked my character, they've attacked my faith, and they've attacked my God. His head is down, he is dejected, and he says, I'm surrounded by enemies, but my enemies are surrounded by God. You get this parallel imagery of being surrounded, and what's more important, that you're surrounded by enemies or that you're surrounded by God? It says, you, O Lord, are a shield. What kind of shield? A shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. And then he says, my glory and the lifter of my head. You know, this is a man who, he has no glory. He has no power. He has no throne room. Like, he's lost his glory. The radiance of his own strength is gone. And so he says, well, that's not what I'm counting on. I'm counting on God's glory. In fact, God's glory, as long as he is king, as long as he's in charge, then I have glory as well. And instead of my head being down, it's the Lord who lifts my head. And this image of lifting the head and the sunrise and locking eyes and turning your face and showing favor, all of these are really constant themes throughout the Psalms. And it's not just one of positivity, but it's also a picture of new hope and of relationship and of relational favor. So he's saying, you've accused me of being disconnected from my God, but my God has not changed. He's still there, and he's still good. Okay? And he's still strong. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. My glory and the lifter of my head. And the next part says, I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. So, it's one thing to be in trouble. It's one thing to cry aloud to the Lord. But something I love about this moment is not just that David cries out to the Lord. That's not new. But that the Lord answers. Almost in my mind, in my way of singing this, it almost catches me by surprise. Yes, I cry out, I cry out, I cry out, and he answered me. You know, Eugene Peterson writes about the Psalms. He says the Psalms are the prayer book of the people of God answering God. You know, all of humanity prays, but it is a unique idea that God speaks back to us. Or from the Christian perspective, it is God that speaks first, and then we answer him. And so God has already been speaking to David. He's saying, you're my anointed. He's already been speaking on how he should shepherd the kingdom. And then here in turmoil, God is leading him. And as David cries out, God answers him. That is incredibly important that we remember. The God we serve, the God we cry out to, is the God who speaks. It is not just us sending our longings into the cosmos. No, no. In fact, we wouldn't even pray if we hadn't first been prompted by his Spirit. We, in fact, are the second one to speak. God has already spoken. We cry out to him and he answers us. It's a dialogue. All right. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. You, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. So right here, David says, look, this sacred ground, the high place where we anoint the king, Absalom may have taken the high ground. But what ground is higher? The king's, royal hill or Mount Zion? Like what we have is kind of a reflection of Psalm 2, which kind of pits the earthly kings against the divine throne room. And you say, is there any comparison? Look, you may have dethroned me in an earthly sense, but God himself is my glory. He's the lifter of my head. He has answered me from his holy hill. Basically, David is saying, I went over your head. I went over your head, and the boss's boss has got my back. So what do I have to fear? That's David's hope and security. That's how he anchors his heart in the middle of turmoil. Not in his own accomplishments or his own ability to restore the kingdom, but in God.